This is a continuation from last week. I mentioned last week that as the Mint Business Club, we want to offer some additional support to our wider Mint network that we have out there. We're very, very aware of the fact that we're still in this very crazy time, and we want to try and offer as much support as we can to that wider network. So hi Dan, to those people that we love dearly and we want to see more of, but obviously at this time of social distancing we can't. So please come on board and ask me questions that I'll try and answer while I'm here. So I'm Moira, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Moira Barnes and I'm part of the Mint team. Hi Rachel. We decided that we've obviously got our members area of the Mint Business Club, but we realised that we've got a lot of other people within our wider community that are all going through similar things happening at this time. So I was on last Monday before Mr. Johnson's big announcement about us all having to lock ourselves away, as it were. So we're all on lockdown now. There's lots of amazing dedicated people that are going out to work for us, and we're very thankful for that. All the NHS workers, all the people in the supermarkets, the post people, the delivery people, which is really great. But boy, has the world changed again in just the space of 7 days. And I know that this time last week we were talking about whether it's the right time to be going out and selling. This is a continuation of that, really reinforcing that message, because I still feel that it is very important that we go out and we continue selling to our customers. Now, obviously, those of you who have businesses and you've had to furlough your staff, possibly furlough yourself as well, then you are not able to do some of the things that I had talked about, which is staying on people's radar. Hi, Juliana, how are you? Hi Sarah Louise, hi Lara. So if you have been furloughed, and what can I say, totally and utterly empathise with you in that scenario, but please try and use this time that you have now, because hopefully this is going to come to an end and your business is going to still be there and you're going to get some financial help from the government to keep things ticking along. But so your customers, so Julia, I know you were saying today that we had a mention in the Mint Business Club about offering special offers to each other, which is what we're doing. We're trying to buy from each other to try and help each other out. And I know that you're not trading because you're furloughed. And I totally understand that, but I think you need to, and I'm sure you're doing this anyway, but everybody needs to use this time where they might not be able to do any social media, they've got no customers, they're not allowed to do anything with customers, but really take the time to sit and think, who is your ideal customer? So you need to sit back and think about where they are going to be, because things are possibly going to be very different. We're still in very early days here, and there's talk of this potentially going on for 6 months. So we need to start thinking about how that 6 months time is going to really change the way that people buy. And hi Neil, and it's going to have a really massive effect on our psychology of selling. And so you need to take this time, this opportunity, to work out what is that ideal customer going to be doing? Where are they? What groups are they in on Facebook? If they're somebody who uses Facebook a lot, I think social media is going to become so important because it's the way we're going to be socializing with each other. All the technologies like Zoom and Google Meet, Skype, all that kind of technology. And there's going to be lots of groups are going to be popping up, and that people are going to be using those groups. So how can you build those relationships in the future with those people? Where are they hanging out? Which social media platforms is it that they're going to be hanging out on? Have a real think about, all these networking groups that I'm in. Hi Darren. Maybe we need to reevaluate which networking groups that we're actually in, which ones are really working for us. Where are we just in a networking group because we like the people there? Are we actually getting any business from that. And it doesn't have to be an immediate business exchange. You could be going to a networking event and the people there aren't the people that are going to buy from you, but they know the people that are going to buy from you. So for example, if you are working in children's clothing, but you're meeting with people that are older or don't have children, but they're going to know people that have children. So you just have to really think about who your ideal customer is. And it might not be 1 degree of separation. It might be 2 degrees of separation that you manage to reach those people. So that's for people who are furloughed and can't really do any of the things that I would normally recommend. I just think it's a real time to take stock and really plan things, plan what you're going to be doing. Make sure that everything is in order in terms of all your finances, your cash flow forecasts. I'm saying that because Darren's just waved, and Darren at Valued has been fantastic. So the Valued Business Community Group has been really useful and really helpful. Stephen, Paul and Darren have really broken down a lot of the information that we've been bombarded with over the last week. So that's been really helpful. But think about your sales strategy. Think about, how am I going to sell? Because if it does last 6 months, then that's going to take us into the Christmas period. And Christmas period is traditionally for most businesses, certainly most product-based businesses, is a really, really key time for you. So if you've got 6 months to plan, really make good use of it. And then for those of us who are not furloughed, so I myself am not furloughed, there's quite a lot of people I know that aren't furloughed, they're self-employed business owners. I'm still able to work. I'm able to do all my meetings online. This morning I did my first online workshop using Google Meet. I'm waiting to hear on the feedback from that, on how it went from the participants' point of view. So I am pivoting how my business works a little bit slower than possibly the Mint crew have done. The amazing complete pivot that Pete and Suzanne and Nicola and the rest of the guys have got everything online now, and it's going. Even the networking is online, which was hilarious last week. It was really funny and really good and really buoyed everybody. So I think that's a superb testament to getting things online, and I am doing that now. So I've been doing my one-to-ones, have been online. I've now did my first workshop this morning online, but I need to still be showing my face, making sure that my customers who might suddenly not have an income to be able to afford my services, I still want them to remember me, and hopefully when the 6 months is up and things are back working and running, then they're going to want to use me. But if I've not done anything in that 6 months, if I've just sat back and decided that I'm not going to do anything, then they're going to forget about me and I'll be starting from square one again. So again, if you do have time, I've got 2 little kids that I'm trying to teach during the day, so it is interesting trying to do work and also homeschool 2 children, but I'm being a little bit more relaxed about that this week. But take any time that you do have to, again, think about that sales strategy. Think about, where are those people going to be? So Nicola mentioned in one of her lives positivity posts, daily dose of Mint positivity. I hope you're all catching those. They're happening in the mornings at about 9:35 to allow us people who are doing the Joe Wicks to catch their breath. But in that, she was talking about how we are buying differently. So for me, I've now not really used my car in 2 weeks, I think, so I'm not spending money on petrol. But what I have realised is last week, my new cockapoo puppy was getting rather shaggy, and he had been due to go to the groomers on Wednesday. So the week before, I'd been due to go to the hairdressers and couldn't go because I had gone into self-isolation. And then last week, the dog was meant to go to the groomers and we couldn't do that because of the lockdown happening. So something that I never thought I'd be doing is I had to purchase some dog clippers and become a dog groomer. Well, if anybody's seen the results of that, I'm pretty horrific. And I know I'll definitely be going back to the dog spa in Shotley Bridge when they reopen. And when this lockdown finishes, because I did a terrible job and I think I've traumatised my puppy and he's probably never going to be the same again. But it seems to have raised quite a laugh with a lot of people, so there's some good has come out of it. But that's something that I never thought I'd be purchasing. I never thought I'd be purchasing dog clippers, but that's something that I've done. There's a lot of people who realising, so Danielle Stanley, who has the Under the Rowans trees, she's an independent stationer here in the northeast, and she had that first week. I talked about it last week, the analysis paralysis that people were having, and I really do believe that we're coming out of that a little bit this week. We're a little bit further along that grieving process, But Danielle had a bit of a slump in her sales that have really picked up again now that people have got used to the fact, okay, I've got to stay home, I'm not allowed to go out. I want to take up a hobby, I need a hobby. So she has found people that are now going online, buying brush lettering pens, buying stationery boxes from her. Keely from KP Paper Cuts as well has had sales via her Etsy shop, so she's been uploading paper cutting stencils, and people are realising that this is a really great mindfulness project that they can do. So that's been something that's picked up for her again. So suddenly people are realising that they might not have, they're thinking differently about how they spend their money, and so their money is being spent now on things that 2 weeks ago they might not have spent it on. So you might suddenly find that you've got a new influx of new customers coming on board now. So, think about where they are and how are they going to find you. So make sure you Google My Business is up to date, which is something that I'm going to do tonight. If you've got a blog, if you've got a website that you can update, then update it with some new photographs or a new blog post or just a new little bit of copy that could explain how you're now working differently. So that's something I did today. I updated my website to say that I'm now taking one-to-ones via Zoom, and I'm also doing video conferencing for my workshop, so that little bit of an update will push me up the Google rankings a little bit. Being present on all the platforms that your customers are going to be on. So I think I mentioned last week that I've identified the two for me are Facebook works really well for me, but also LinkedIn works well for me. And thanks Suzanne, that's great to know. So it's just really important to stick with, think about where that customer is now browsing. They've got this extra time. They're going to be wanting to, as we discussed last week, they're wanting to escape all the COVID-19 talk. It's almost, I don't know whether it's just me, but it's almost become a bit of noise. And I'm not taking it in as much as I was last week. So the COVID-19 thing is slipping by on my news feed. On Facebook there's not as many posts about it, which I'm really pleased about, or maybe I've managed to self-filter that kind of chatter about, but I now want to hear about good things to do. I want to hear about, so Charlotte from Mini Mixes posted a competition. Hi Jeff, welcome. Celebrity service is something that's really important, something that Jeff talked about. Something that I do as well is kind of keep in touch with my customers. So I've got my cover up that because I made a mistake on it but that is my postcard, so I'm going to write some postcards and send those out to people if I manage to get out to the post office. But making sure that you are just keeping on the radar for everybody is really, really important. Something that I was talking about earlier on today, and I can't find it, so I don't know if I've lent my book to somebody, but a really good book that I have is by Daniel H. Pink, which is To Sell is Human. And it's a really good book, and it's one of those books that I just spend my whole time nodding because it's totally along the sales ethos that I have. And he talks about the new ABC. So rather than always be closing, he talks about attunement, buoyancy and clarity. And what he means by that is that he talks about selling is about moving people, and in my workshop this morning I did talk a lot about the fact that the government are having to do did I lend you my book, Darren? Because I've lost my book. I don't know where it's gone. I'm quite gutted. I'm going to have to order another one because it's brilliant. But the government are currently having to do a lot of moving. In this last week, they've had to do a massive shift for all of us. They've been selling to us how important it is that we stay inside and keep safe inside. And this is, you think about it, this is a huge, huge change of mindset for everybody. And obviously there's still some people lagging behind who haven't quite picked up on this. But that is the government selling to us. That is the government moving us from one state of mind to another state of mind. And that is what selling is. For me, that's what selling is we're offering our help, and we're making people's lives better because we're persuading them that, look, this is a problem or a challenge that they have. If they just come on board and work with me, then you're going to move and you're going to be in a much better place. So that is what selling is for me. So the attunement is really understanding what it is your customer wants and needs help with right now. So obviously for me, it would have been really helpful if I'd watched a few more YouTube videos on how to groom my dog, or had a dog that stood still like they do in all the YouTube videos, but my puppy didn't, funnily enough. So, what the dog grooming spa that I go to, and this is, we've talked about this for hairdressing, hair salons, is, people are now, how to cut a fringe, which isn't a case of just getting your scissors and cutting it. There's an actual science to it. So people doing videos about how to cut your fringe, or I don't know, tie a nice hair scarf in your hair. This is a really special one for Darren, actually, to hide all your roots that are coming through. So there's lots of, just think differently. This is not something that you would have thought that you had to do 2 weeks ago, but actually now it's really pertinent. Those customers now need this help in a different way. So what is it that your business can offer them? Is it, style guidance on how to dress for being a homeschool mum? So making sure, you've got your sports gear for watching Joe Wicks in the morning, and then, do you change it up at lunchtime? I don't know, something like that. So just think about how you can be that still very same helpful person that you always are, but how can you help people differently now? And I'm not saying just immediately sell here. I had an inquiry from someone this morning who is in the bridal industry, and she was really worried about pushing at this point in time. I mean, brides are planning for next year and the year after. So all the brides from this year, there's been, the awful fallout for a lot of the bridal businesses this year. But think about the brides that are coming up. Think about all the romances that are going to happen from people being stuck inside with each other. So, that boyfriend that has never quite got around to proposing is maybe going to propose now. So, there could be not only a baby boom in 9 months' time, but there could be, a boom in engagements happening. So what can that bridal company do now that is actually talking to the brides of the future, how they can help them? So we talked about, could she set up a payment plan so that, realizing that finances are a little bit more convoluted now, they're very different. So, she's realizing that brides want to try and book something up. There's still a bit of uncertainty, but if they can pay each month, that's guaranteeing a salary coming in for her. And it also means that it's chipping away at that spend, because as we all know, the wedding industry is quite huge. So just again, how can you think differently about your customers, and how can you talk to them in a way that is really caring and sharing? So that attunement, thinking about the what it is that your customer needs from you right now. The buoyancy is really pertinent to me. So ABC, the buoyancy of Dan Pink's analogy here is, you're going to come across, as he says, an ocean of no's. And I think at the moment you may well come across an ocean of more no's than ever before. It's like a tsunami of no's might happen at this point in time, because people are still trying to work out how it is their life is going to go, how their money's going to come in, what's happening in their worlds. So you've got to be really mindful of the fact that this does not mean that it's the end of your business. I talked again this morning in my presentation about the law of averages. Jim Rohn does a really good video about the law of averages, and also there's a book that I've read which is Go for No, and it's about desensitizing yourself from those no's and understanding that actually those no's, the more no's you get, are going to get you closer to yeses. So yes, you might speak to 10 people and only one person says yes, and you might be feeling dejected that you've got all these 9 no's, but you've got a yes. Think of the positives out of this. Be really buoyant, have that buoyancy that you are going to come back. So you're going to ride the wave, you're going to ride the storm that's happening at the moment, but then you're going to bounce back at the end of it. And then the last part of the ABC is clarity, and the clarity is just understanding, being really clear on what it is you're trying to do, what it is that you're trying to gain for your customer at the end of the day. Obviously, yes, you want their sales, but you want them to be a customer that's going to come back time and again. You want them to be a customer that's going to recommend you to people. So again, at the moment, they might not be able to buy from you, but they've bought from you in the past. And if you've given them celebrity service, like Jeff Ram talks about a lot in his books and is an expert on, if you've given them celebrity service, then they are going to recommend you to other people and come back to you when this is over. But you need to remind them of that, so you need to educate them about that. I did a post on my Facebook page this morning, which was, I can help with that. So there'll be a lot of people, typing questions into Google about, how can I do this, how can I do that? And you just need to be really clear on, I can help with that, and this is how I can help you with that. So they might not realise that they need help with that, but if you educate them and talk to them about how you can help, then that's going to mean that they're hopefully going to come back to you and remember you in the 3, 6, 9, 12 months, however long this is going to happen. So Dan Pink, To Sell is Human, is a really great book. There's a few other books in his range. He's really, really good. So that is kind of a little snapshot of what I wanted to continue on from last week. Also just wanted to reiterate, we're trying to give this extra support now with in the wider business group that we have. So we know we've got a lot of Mint business fans out there, so this is us trying to give you a little bit more support. But if you'd like to let us know, so, drop me a comment in the feed here if there's what you'd like to know next Monday, and we'll try and it'll either be me again or one of the other guys, one of the other mentors in the Mint business group, business club. And we'll try and answer that for you. Things that have been happening in the Mint Business Club in the last week. We had a really good week last week. As I mentioned, we did a networking event. So originally Nicola was meant to be having a party and showing off her new offices on the Monday. Well, we changed that up and we had that as a Zoom networking event. And that worked really well. Was that Monday or Tuesday? I can't remember. But that worked really well, and we were able to also have breakout rooms, and so that people could have 15-minute free mentoring from one of the different steering group members, so myself included. Karen Goldfinch was there, Michelle Rose was there, I think Peter Surridge was there, obviously Nick was there as well. So that was a fantastic opportunity, and I say really buoyed us all up there. Nicola's continuing with all the boot camps. So the boot camps are smaller groups of people, and we've decided we're going to have those weekly because they were so good. It was an hour and a half of us chatting about what was happening in our business. We've set ourselves weekly goals so that when we go back to our next boot camp, we can have that accountability. We also had a lot of sessions on content creation, and that's continuing this week. So there's a session tomorrow with Michelle Rose that is, I think it's titled Coronavirus Content, and it's how are you having to change your content in light of the fact that this is going on out there. We had Louise Heaps telling us how we write our brand story. We've had Helen Bowman talking today about content as well. So there's some really good sessions. We're also going to be having some of the guys, I can't remember who's doing it now, but we're having SEO training this week. So there's lots going on in the main Mint business group. So a lot of support. We're all, all trying to buy and sell to each other and support each other through this difficult time. So that is going on. But we don't want to forget about all the people that are in this group as well. So please, in the feed below, let us know. And Nick will be looking at this later on after she's had a tea. So let us know what is the sort of thing that you want us to talk about on a Monday night. So we're going to make this a regular slot. So Monday night about 7:30, 8 o'clock, that sort of time, depending on whether there's announcements, because we had to go earlier last week because Bojo was coming on. But let us know what it is you want us to talk about, and let us know if this has been useful tonight, and we can change it up if it's not been useful, but hopefully it has been. But I wish you all a wonderful week. It's been a good start to the week for me. The sun came out, there was no snow today, so that was really good. I had a really good workshop, and I'm loving the positivity that we get through the Mint Business Club. And I think led by Nick doing her positivity post in the morning, that's a really good start to the day. So I shall leave you here and now, and I wish you farewell, and I shall see you possibly next Monday. And you're welcome, Darren. And it'll either be me or one of the other steering group, but take care. Bye-bye.